What's going on, guys? So today I have something pretty interesting to try out. This is an electronic edge tester. Okay, this is for all the people out there who want to get super scientific with your knives. How sharp exactly is your knife? So this is a really simple concept. Basically, we have a scale that measures in grams. There's an insert here to put these different tools, and it only measures in the very center. All right, so basically turn it on, put the backlit portion on so you guys can see it real easy. If I push down on any of this, nothing happens. All right, when I push down on the center, it creates a reading in grams. Okay, and then of course when you stop, it keeps that number there so you can see what the reading was. You can reset it to 0 at any point in time, do it again. But what we're doing is obviously not going to push our finger down. Use this piece right here, which has a test media in it. You can see that very thin piece of string, for lack of a better word. And all we're going to be doing is cutting it. All right, so you put your edge on the very center here, and as you apply pressure down, it's going to give you a reading. Now, the lower the number, the better, because obviously it took less pressure to cut the media. So this gives you an actual reference. So you could take a reading on one particular knife, try a different knife, or if you're just sharpening that knife, you could take another reading and see if you're actually getting that edge sharper. I think this is a brilliant idea, specifically if you're going to be testing knives with each other, or if, again, you're super into knife sharpening and you want to get to that next level. You actually have a reference. Cutting paper, cutting cardboard, cutting even something like phone book paper, you can have a wide range of how sharp your knife actually is and still perform those same tasks. In other words, you can have a really sharp knife cut a piece of paper, but you can have an extremely sharp knife cut that same piece of paper, and you're kind of going by how much resistance you feel. Where in this case, you're getting a physical number that you can refer to, which is cool. So this would be great for testing factory edges, or again, if you want to get that knife super, super sharp, or if you're working on your sharpening skills, you can certainly do so. So today I'm going to be testing this out for the first time here on camera. See how easy it is to use or how hard it is to use. My test knife is going to be my EDC neck knife, which is the cold steel spike. I've also been using those pocket strops. All right, so I stropped this up. I was actually very pleased with that red compound. So there are two different ways we could do this. This piece here has, again, the test media that runs across it. And once you make your cut, obviously it'd be broken. You unscrew this side, take the broken piece off, unscrew this side just a little bit, and you're going to pull more out. There's actually a spool that's housed on the underside here. This is just a cap. All right, so there's a spool of that test media, and you can basically refeed it each time, so you could do multiple tests. But there's also a different way you can do this, and this came with some clips, and this basically is a faster, I don't know if it's that much easier, because this is not very difficult to do, but basically these are preloaded clips. This has a slightly different material. So what they said in the paperwork that came with this is that if you're going to be using this, this is 20% off of what this is. In other words, you want to be consistent. Either you're just using these or you're just using that. It makes it a little bit more difficult if you start doing math. But if you do prefer one method over the other, you can certainly choose to do so and then use that every single time you test to compare between different knives. But how this works is there's a separate block here, okay, which is just basically a little weight with a nice grippy foot. You're going to put this into the slot, all right, and then use this instead. So once you make your cut, instead of refeeding more material through, you're basically going to pull that clip out and throw it out. It's now garbage. So it might seem a little bit more wasteful, but it is a little bit quicker and easier. It just depends on whatever you want to do. The clips are a nice idea, but I do like the idea of having this spool in there. I think you're just probably going to get more for your money. It'll last a little bit longer doing it this way as opposed to buying those clips. So to explain this a little bit better, this did come with a reference chart. It's going to basically give you an idea what these numbers mean. Again, the higher the number, the duller your blade is. In this case, you're saying about 2,000 is like a common butter knife or an unsharpened dual edge blank. For example, if you have like a swedge that's not sharpened, that is about the same sharpness as, say, a butter knife. All right, and then of course it goes all the way down to the sharpest, which would be a double edge razor blade, which is around 50 or so. Utility razor blade is around 150 to 200 and so forth. So our goal is to get around, I would say 350 or less would be a very good sharp knife. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and test this. Again, it's the first time I'm doing this. This is your kind of rest block. This has an extremely strong magnet on it. All right, and basically you're gonna put this off to the side of this piece. All right, so what we're gonna do is put that in the middle, but you take your blade, rest it in the slot that's there, and now you have a pivoting point, so you can slowly go down. Now they also say if you have an odd shaped blade or something, you don't have to use this because this won't measure anything. You could just rest your hands here very comfortably and then push down that way as well. But it's nice to have the rest. All right, so put that off to the side, put that on there. All right, we're gonna turn it on. There's basically just 3 buttons here. These 2 buttons I don't think do anything at all. They're just there for other versions of this machine. But you have the red one, which is on and off. Very simple, just turns on and off. Once it's on, you can hit this button here for the backlight. All right, so it's a little easier to read. At any point in time, let's say push down, you want to erase, what's on there. You just hit the T button for tear, and that goes back to 0. All right, so here we go. This will be our first test with this machine. So put that in the guide. I'm just gonna make sure that is in that slot. There we go. I'm just gonna come down. I feel the material. So this broke at 230. So that is extremely sharp, which I'm not surprised. It was stropped up properly. So I'm going to try this again. Now keep in mind too, when you're doing your test cuts, you're gonna be doing a specific part of the blade. So 230 means exactly where I happen to cut that. If you have a nick in your blade, a chip, something like that, you could hit just that chip and get a wrong read. For you to kind of look at your edge and make sure that you don't have any problems with it. And of course, if you really wanted to, you could take multiple readings throughout the edge because clearly, especially if you're doing any kind of hand sharpening and you're not using a machine or a set machine, you can have a really sharp edge on the flat and then maybe towards the tip it's a little duller because you're sweeping off the stone or something. So there's a lot of variables there, but this still gives you a pretty good idea. All right, so I just loosened both sides of these nuts. I took the broken piece out. All right, this will ride up. You'll be able to put this down and you go around the back. Make sure you're behind that screw there. All right, and you're basically going to, I'm wasting a little bit here because it's the first time you're using it, but you can hold it against there. All right, just to make sure there's tension. You're just taking the slack out. You don't have to crank it down or anything. In fact, if you build pressure up on this test medium, you're going to skew the results because it's going to be super taut. All right, so as long as you just rest it down every time, you'll have the same results, and then that goes down again. So again, I'm wasting a little bit on the edge here, which I'm just going to cut off. But once you get the hang of it, you could be less wasteful. So that's it. It's really that easy to reset it up for another cut or another test. All right, so I'm going to clear this out. And I already forgot what the first number was. I know it was 2 something. So let's try this again. All right, put this in the rest. There we go. All right, and bring it down. And that broke at 282. So I thought the first one was like 260 or something. Obviously you guys are watching the video. I already forgot because I'm focused on trying to reset that up. But we're still under 300. So according to our little cheat sheet, again, we're in the range of new high-end cutlery edge. So I am happy with that. This thing is awesome. I absolutely love this, particularly for me, because I test a bunch of different knives out. I have something that could be extremely consistent in testing the edge. I will personally use this for factory edges, just out of curiosity, just to see how sharp they are from the factory. Different companies do differ sometimes with that factory edge. As well as when I'm doing my own sharpening jobs on something, if I'm polishing the edge up, I'm kind of curious as to how sharp it really is. So now I don't really have to guess. Obviously the old-fashioned paper cut tests, and there's different cutting tests you could do. But this is a little bit more scientific, so I have a physical number that I can compare each and every time. What's kind of funny is that I clicked on my own video, one of my knife reviews, to check the comments, and there was an ad playing before the video, and it was for this product. I never even heard of it before. So I happened to see it on an ad on my own video, and I contacted the company. I said, I gotta try this thing out, and they were nice enough to send me one out. So full disclosure, I did get this for free. I didn't buy this thing, but just in testing it for the first time here on camera, I love it. I think it's awesome. So the only downside I could really see with this system is running out of the medium. Obviously, when you get this, you're gonna wanna play with it. You're gonna be testing all your different knives out. You could be sharpening a knife, testing it 100 times. So eventually, when you do run out of this medium, you have to get more. Kind of is what it is. I'm gonna contact the company and ask about using your own medium, how much that really changes the results. For example, the first thing I thought of when I got this was, this is awesome. But yeah, I'm gonna run out of this stuff. Can I use dental floss? Can you use fishing line? You know, how's that gonna change things? Off the top of my head, I kind of feel like if you use your own type of cutting medium, it'd be fine, but you'd have to always use that same medium, obviously. If I change this out with 10-pound fishing line or something, my results are gonna be totally different. So in my opinion, again, I don't know, I have to refer with the company to make sure this is correct. If you use the same material every single time, you should have consistent results. But like if you have a machine and your friend has a machine and you're using a different medium, it's going to be totally skewed. So a good idea would probably be, you know, sticking with what they're offering here. I'm not sure exactly what this is, what pound test, what type of, you know, string that is, if it's nylon or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I can really see is having to buy more of that. But that's not that big of a deal. And I know there's a lot of guys that are really going to be into this. There's so many people out there that take sharpening really to the next level. And now you have an actual tool, you could figure out how sharp your knife is. So it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. So in the future, after I get a lot of use on this, I might do an update and tell you what I think of it, you know, down the road, and especially like how long this stuff lasts. And I will talk to the company about using your own materials, and if that seems to be what I think it is, you know, it seems pretty straightforward. If you're using the same medium every time, it should be pretty consistent, but I'll find out for sure, and I'll let you guys know in the future. I like the idea of these clips, but again, that could be expensive if you're testing all day long. I know a lot of you guys watching the videos, you got tons of knives, and you're gonna wanna test them all, right? So if you're using this casually, you know, you have your EDC knife and every now and then it gets a little bit dull, you wanna give it a test, then it's no big deal. But if you're gonna be obsessed with this, then yeah, obviously that can cost you some money in buying those materials. But anyway, that is it. That's just a first look. I wanna turn the camera on and do it with you guys. Very easy to set up. I mean, there's literally, if you're just using these, there's just two pieces. This came in a cardboard box with foam cut out, so I just put the pieces in the spots that they're originally in, and that's pretty much it. And then resetting this up is very straightforward as well. So that's all. I like it. I think it's a really cool idea. I don't know how long this has been out, but I'm glad I discovered it. So we will test that out right now. I think I was in the 280-ish area before. All right, so same deal. We're gonna turn this on, put the backlight on, and here we go. Use one of these clips. So I'm in the rest. Be pushing down, and there you go, 285. It actually seems pretty consistent with the other reading. Let's try this again with another clip, because what they basically are stating is that they outsource these, so the material is a little bit different. All right, so now this is just garbage, just a broken clip. So I'll put a new one in here, right in that channel, just kind of pushes down. So 285, let's try this again. Gonna put that back to 0, hit the tear button. All right, and again, keep in mind, I am testing a different portion of this blade every time. I'm not landing on the exact same spot, but should get a good reference. 278, so pretty consistent with the edge, pretty close. So yeah, I mean, the clips, kind of a cool idea. It's just a slight bit faster. It's not too, you know, hard to use this, so I kind of prefer this. Only because then I have a bunch of this garbage, and then I think it only comes with 25, and I can use this up pretty quickly. But yeah, just wanted to come back for a second and use those clips on camera. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think down below, and I hope you guys have a great day. See you soon.